Oh wow, that's fast. Good afternoon, everybody that's here. Oh, hi, Bella. I remember you from last time. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Oh my goodness. I just wanted to come live. I try to tell myself all the time that I absolutely have to come live. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm gonna keep hopefully today's video fairly short. Usually when I come on live, I have a specific like thing that I want to talk about, something on my heart. Let me just see who's in here. So for the person in here, I am the owner of the store. My name is Keisha. I know I've never kind of put myself out there prior to. But I've had a crazy situation happen to me in like the last 2 years that I feel very compelled to talk about. I feel like I have to tell people my story. I feel like a lot of people know what my story was. I feel like a lot of my customers know what my story was. Just because it was in the grapevine, people were talking. But yeah, I was pretty much gang stalked. This group of people decided to pursue me for to be a drug mule, essentially. That came up a number of times in the year. That's the direction that they wanted to push me in, and me refusing wasn't good enough, or me showing no interest or dodging or running from the conversation or not getting close to people who were trying to triangulate me wasn't working. So they essentially decided that they were going to force me into doing that. So I've been coming live. I've been telling my story. I've been telling different facets of my story because it's over such a lengthy period of time. So it's rather impossible to tell that entire story, with just one or two videos. But yeah, and I also felt that I was dealing with so much in silence that people were just getting away with a false narrative, with a false story. There were so many rumors being told about me that were so ridiculous. And of the ones that I've heard, I'm just like, whatever. I think most things that are said about me are just whatever, because it's like if somebody talks about like says something like I'm promiscuous or I make my money in a weird way or whatever. I think most people should have enough common sense to just work that out themselves. People have known me for 10 years. My store has been around. I've been in the public eye, and I have been hustling, and that's one thing that everybody's always been has always said about me and has always known about me, is that I work super hard. So, if someone says something about how I make my money or anything like that, like I don't give a shit. I don't care. People know that I'm here all year round. They come to my store and they see me, all the time. It's like, especially being in the mall, they're almost every day. So, things like rumors like that, I don't really care about. It's like if you're either going to believe it because you want to believe it, or you're going to think it's stupid. It is what it is. Hopefully people have common sense. If people talk about like how I am as a person, I don't think anybody in the city can say they've dated me or they've spent time with me or like I don't even have the time. I just don't have interest in doing any of that. So, I mean, I think the worst thing, that the thing that has bothered me the most is the dark witch allegations have really pissed me off, because I am a very spiritual person and I do have a huge interest in esoteric sort of knowledge, and I feel like that's misconstrued. And then that sort of, and my spiritual beliefs are so, integral to who I am as a person, that somebody sort of trying to purposely misinform people about who I am is like insulting, you know, especially because, how I identify is already not mainstream as it is. I think that's really bothered me, just seeing people afraid of me, and just to know that people have antagonized me and bullied me for so long, and I dealt with the entire thing with grace and with class. And just to get to the tail end of it, and for people, and now to hear that that's what people are saying about me, has been like ridiculous, but it's whatever. I'm a spiritual person. I pray a lot. And I believe in very much in like people do spell work and like all of that. I believe that. I know it to be true, whether people don't believe it or not. I think it just makes them more vulnerable, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Nevertheless, I don't want to talk too much about that just today. Today, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. I am in such a peaceful state. Not that I didn't achieve states of peace prior to in my situation, I had to make peace work for me. I had to find it. I had to keep it with me, but just that now it's like, yeah, I just feel like my that cycle is over, thankfully. And it has nothing to do with what people want or what they don't want. They do not want this cycle to be over, but I know this cycle is over for me. Okay? I have transformed as a person. I'm not accepting nonsense. I'm not letting people take not even an inch. An inch is way too fucking much to take with me. So I feel empowered to like move on with my life. Um, you know, I still think there's drama in the air, but it wouldn't be the first time that people have issues with me that I don't really care to have issues with, and it is what it is. But I definitely keep speaking up about things I think that people don't want to be out there. I definitely keep mentioning things that are going on in the way their network operates. And I know that they don't want anybody to, or just anybody to be listening to my lives and my YouTube videos and whatnot. And it is what it is. Because I just started it. YouTube is kind of hard to break out into. But I have faith that eventually things will be what they are, because I feel in my heart, I feel the push in my heart every day, this nagging push, like get on, go on live, tell your story, let people know what's going on. Not just because I feel like other people are likely to find themselves in this situation, because they're always on the hunt, but because I know that when I was going through my situation, it was having information from other people that played a role as well in helping me. And there's so much information out there on gang stalking. It's ridiculous that people even try to like paint it like something that's not real. So many educated people with educated backgrounds, people who had very good who lived very good lifestyles, all of that. People who would otherwise be very reliable, stable, people that you would normally believe are saying that this has happened to them, and it's usually connected to some sort of job, or usually from what I see, it's always a job. And there's this narrative that's floating around there. It's a targeted individual, whatever in the States, that's what they call it, targeted individual. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe the government targeted people. I think it's people who pay people who own gang stalking companies. End of story. They're gang stalking companies, and people pay them to destroy people's lives. That's it, and that's all. In my situation, it failed horribly, thank God. Regardless of what people want to say about, who I am as a person and what I dabble in spiritually and whatever, it is God who took me out of that situation 100%. 110%. It has been my faith. It has been my prayers. It has been God's plan for my life it's just been like, whatever is yours is going to be for you. This life is going to be enjoyable for you. Nothing's going to stop that. And if that meant, shaking up a couple of people who didn't want to understand that, then that's what that is. And there is absolutely no apology for that. That is just how it goes. Like, I think everybody who knows me has known me to be a very good person, a very warm person, a very calm person, a very nice person. There's no reason to believe for any reason that I would go attacking people for no reason. So, far-fetched rumors, I think. I think things like that are ridiculous because people have known me for so long. But I also don't believe people believe that stuff either. That's the thing. I really don't believe that people believe any of the rumors. They were so stupid. People have known me for a long time. People have followed me for a long time. I think it's just been crazy to see how many of my clientele belong to this lifestyle. So they're not people have been bullied to stay away from me. That's how bad it's been. That's how desperate of an attempt it's been. Is that people have just been bullied to stay away from me. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm just not a person who lets things bother me because, thank God I've always been a person who keeps to myself, so my reality hasn't changed very much. Besides, personal changes that I've made, but it's like my social dynamic. It's not like I've lost like social friends that I go out with or I hang out with or I talk like it is what it is. But I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. And I really wanted to come on and say Merry Christmas, and I hope everybody's having a decent holiday season. I went to the mall, not yesterday, but the day before. I always go to the mall on that day. Just with work, it just seems like I used to always wait till like the day closest to Christmas to do my shopping and whatever. And it's always been a zoo. And I always tell myself when I'm looking for parking, when I'm driving out after shopping, while I'm shopping, the lineups, I'm always like, why would I do that? Why do I do this I say this exact same thing every single year. But this year, shockingly, we got parking right at the front. The hallways, I'm not going to say the hallways at the mall were empty, but they weren't that jam packed. Stores were not packed. Lineups were not long. It's just a drastic change in the economy that's so obvious. I know even with like last year, as soon as we brought new stock in, we were one of the first stores in the mall to put our stock 50% off. And then everybody else just followed suit. Like, because it was like, that's what you had to do to sell. And that started from last summer. Last summer. So from last summer to the Christmas time, it was like you had to have things on sale in order for them to even, for customers to even like consider buying it. So this year, instead of everything being 50% off, everything is 70% off in stores, which is nuts, which is so crazy. It's like holiday season. It's like they're having like, I don't even know, like 50% plus additional 20 plus additional 30. It's like before Christmas, which is supposed to be the highest selling season. So I think in retail, we always see first the dips in the economy, because it's like, especially when you're selling clothes, it's like that's where you're seeing how people are spending money. Like, people are not spending money the same. The most important things are going to be bills, and being that clothing is not a bill, people are not going to just jump in and buy clothes in the way that they used to. So I feel like from last summer, I've been seeing that it's just really not good. And I swear to you, every time I think about it, every time I look around, like just from being in sales and being in retail and just that being my lifestyle, I just know, or that being my business, I should say, I just know things are horrible. Once retail starts going that low, it's like people are worried about their bills. I feel like we're all going through something, and it's like I don't think there should be shame in that, honestly. Like, the biggest companies are having issues. They always have been. They always have been. Since COVID, it's been a mess. Like, for us, we've been able to be agile because we're a small store. And, it's a family run business, so I don't have to depend on people to work. Like, we can make our schedule work, regardless. There's always help. But, with a business where it's like, I don't even know, their back stock room is like three of, what are the size of our old store. It's like, I can only imagine like the way they need to staff the stores. Like, that's probably a huge cost, on top of the fact that like stock is sitting by. Like, even I went grocery shopping and they were trying to bundle the groceries where you don't buy one, they sell it by like the twos or by the threes. Like, they're trying to get rid of things. And I'm like, I don't know, my mind is blown. It's not blown, but it's like, I don't know. I always feel like the only person who sees things. That's the craziest thing to me. It's just like this gang stalking thing. When I was telling everybody what was going on, I feel like nobody was taking me seriously. Everybody was just like, yeah, but are you sure? But maybe it could be this and maybe it could be that. Listen, I dodged a huge bullet. I dodged a huge bullet because I feel like once you get into that life, you can never get out. Like, it's hard to get out. And I was fighting just not to get in. So God forbid how it is to get out. And it's like, I saw that. And then now I'm looking at the economy and I'm like, nobody's seeing this. Nobody's seeing where this is going. This is going to be worse than anything we've witnessed before. I can see it. I feel it. I sense it. There's sometimes it just rolls through my mind. Like I see the pictures, like it's going to be bad. Like companies are going to be laying people off. Even if you have a job, companies are going to be laying people off. The government is not going to be funding us the way they did during COVID. And if they do, that is going to be a catastrophe. The cost of essentials is skyrocketing. We're talking about food. We're talking about gas. Like, we really have to focus on the right things right now. People have to make good decisions. I tell everybody that I come in contact with, anybody that will listen, I'm like, listen, now is not the time for expanding things or like growing things. Like, now's the time to just like kind of shelter in place. It's not going to be good. It is not going to be good. I can feel it. I can see it. And it's just one of those things. I keep saying it. I was talking to someone on the phone and we were talking about real estate. And this person was saying there was a home that they really like, and they want to purchase this home. And I was like, listen, this is not the time to be doing this kind of stuff. Please, no. And they were like, no, 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 but I can handle it. I'm like, no, I don't think you should. I really don't think you should. And while we were talking, they went and looked up the price of the home and it had dropped to like 200,000 or 250,000 or something from like 3 days prior. Do you know what kind of freaking drop that is for a home? Do you know what kind of drop that is for a home price? That much? Can you imagine handing that much money over to someone? It's crazy. It is crazy out here. It is a silent storm. And one thing I can say to everybody is I've watched this pattern for forever. I used to work in finance, and then now it's like, well, and then the last 10 years with my store and a couple years kind of doing both. But I used to always look at trends from like, I remember when I was working in corporate in 2008, and I would call a company one day and then I'd call them the other day, the number would be out of service and it would make me panic. So I would Google the company and the website would be gone. The Google page would be gone. Everything would be gone all at once. Like the company just disappeared. And I'm talking about a big company. And we used to send mail and the mail would be returned and it would be in a matter of like a week. It was like a couple of days you called and they were there and then a couple of days later they're not. And it was happening like all the time, like multiple times a day. It was frightening, like just for me on that side to see that. And I feel like it's the same thing happening right now. And, I don't want to have like I don't want to have like a panic attack about it, but it's like when you're one of these people that sees things before other people see things, it's like you tend to be concerned and other people are just like having the motions. But the thing that I was going to say about all of this is I see always the pattern is that the government lets people enjoy the holiday seasons. They let people enjoy Christmas and New Year's, and they let people spend money because they need it for the economy. They depend on it. It's forecasted every year. And then when January comes around, February, March, that's when they roll out new laws, new rules, rules to do with the economy. That's when they tell you, hey, we're in a recession, whatever, like you done already spent money that you probably shouldn't have spent. So it's like, with the way people are so concerned sometimes with like what people think and like giving their kids presents and all this kind of stuff. It's like, please don't overspend. Well, it's too late. It's Christmas Day now. But it's like, I don't think people are overspending. I don't think they can. I think last year they did. But yeah, I don't think they can. I think people have done the best that they could this year. A lot of people. And I think people are like hanging on right now with the way costs are ballooning. But, I just don't think having a shortage of funds at this time when the economy looks like this is something that anybody should feel self-conscious about. I don't think people should be embarrassed. Like, there's nothing, like, it's outside of your control. Everybody's getting hit, everybody's getting hurt. The businesses around, every location that I've had always since COVID has just, they've just faced a lot. There's a lot of vacancies coming up again. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle for everyone. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a different kind of Christmas than I've seen. I'm not seeing as much like Christmas content as I normally would. Um, you know, People are worried. It's somber. It's very somber, I would say. However, you know, it's a good year to pray. It's a good year to find faith, is all I will say. It's a good year to find faith. Any time where it gets so difficult, like it is getting right now, where people are really panicking, I'm seeing panic in people's faces. I'm hearing it everywhere. I don't know if I've told this story on live yet, about, I think I have, about standing in the bank line and listening to this lady talk about, or listen to this landlord ask his tenant for money she hadn't paid in months, and he had to renew the mortgage on the property, and it wasn't showing that rent checks were coming in, and she was saying she's waiting for her friend to get taxes, which means obviously she's unemployed. She doesn't have income. I can't even imagine, like, people sitting in that sort of situation, having not paid their bills for months and just waiting for the day that, someone kicks the bucket, or I shouldn't say kick the bucket, sorry. But just the day the other shoe drops, it's like I could not even imagine. I could not even imagine. I really feel like in times like this, you really have to pray. And I talk about handling high stress situations. I really mean it with meditating. Like, I really mean it. Just take time out and just breathe and calm yourself down, and, find ways to soothe yourself and find ways to keep yourself occupied. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, I can feel it. And if people can't feel it, I don't know what to say. Like, if people can't feel that it's getting worse, it is literally worse than last year. It went from 50% off of everything to like 70% off in the entire malls. So if people can't see sort of, I don't know, like what's going on and how things are going, it's like I don't know what to say. But yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it. So I feel like January is definitely gonna be like a mess. I don't know how else to say it. A mess. It's gonna be a hard situation to endure. I think a lot of people are already there now. The mortgage rates are not helping. There's all kind of, all kinds of crazy issues. I don't want to be doom and gloom. I want to say Merry Christmas and mean it, but it's like I can't help it. I can't help but think about it. Um, but yeah, I think everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. So the real thing I wanted to say, is, if spirituality has helped me get through an episode of being gang stalked, which being gang stalked is not sort of the thing that, it's not the sort of thing that's usually an episode. It usually keeps going until they put you in the position that they want to put you in. But if spirituality helped take me out of this, obviously I'm going to recommend it to everyone. When I first started gaining an interest and it was a slow momentum for me and I got into it, I really just thought I was just living a peaceful life, and I had found nirvana in my mind. I just understood myself so well. I get along with everyone, absolutely everyone. I have no issues with people. Even people who don't want to like me have no choice. I don't, never have drama with anyone. I'm just like in a very zen place, and business was good and everything was good. Of course, the economy was better back then as well. Um, to having spirituality basically save my ass in a crazy situation. It's like, wait, this is not just like yogi stuff. This is not just like, I don't know. This is not just being super zen all the time. This will save your life. It's crazy. Like, I look at my pictures. I'm taking more pictures now. I don't know why. I look at my pictures, I look at videos, and I'm like, I look so young and I look so relaxed and I look so at peace. What on earth? If I tell people, like, if I look at my videos, it doesn't match what I'm talking about, because what I'm talking about is so terrifying. And I look at myself and I'm like so calm and so peaceful. So if I can find calm in that type of a situation that is so ridiculously scary, then I think anybody can tap into spirituality and find peace and find calm and find love. And most of all, and when I say love, I mean love of self, acceptance of self, you know, to just find a peaceful place inside of you so that your peace is not dependent on other people, and to find love inside of you, which to me is, obviously, having the connection that I do with my ancestors, and, obviously having Mother, the Holy Spirit with me. I have everything that I need inside. It just simplifies life in a way that is inexplicable. The attachment to things is just, it's not there. I see how people obsess over things, and I think it's just so crazy, and it's so sad that they haven't found this, and it's right here. It's here for us. I enjoy it every single day. And like I said, it saved my life. It is real. It is way more than just like, I don't know, finding peace. It's way more than that. It's crazy. It's been the worst time of my life and the most exhilarating time of my life at the same damn time. It's weird. It is a very, very, very weird to explain the things that are going on around me or had been going on around me, and then just watching that whole cycle close, like just being very adamant that it's not going to happen and willing my way or manifesting my way out of it. I remember an officer came to my house and he knew everything about my life. And he was like, I know you believe in manifesting. And I hadn't said a thing to him. He was not supposed to know that. But he said it in such a condescending way. It was such a mocking way. Like, I know you believe in manifesting. And it's like it was this bullshit. But it's like, I built a whole life on manifesting. What are you talking about? And then manifesting saved my life. And then manifesting gave me a new life. And that's the thing too. It's like, when I say I'm not Christian, it's not because I don't. 28 minutes. I'm going to use my last 2 minutes. I'm really going to keep it to 30 minutes today. When I say I'm not Christian, I really don't like have anything against Christianity, but I just believe the story of Jesus is metaphorical. We have to die. We are Christ. We have to die, sacrifice our old life, leave it behind, and then we get a new life. But the new life is ushered in by a divine presence or by something else. Because I know people who are in cults and gang stalking situations. Those organizations, they sort of systematically destroy your old life for you while you think it's natural and usher you into their world. And they really lock you in when you get in there. Like you can't get out. It's very difficult to get out. It's very difficult even to see through the illusions that they paint around you with all the networks that they build around you. So they really box you in. But the Holy Spirit is the same thing. In order to get out of those organizations, you have to sacrifice your old life. You have to kill your old self. You have to be willing to walk away. You have to walk through fire and walk away. And once you walk out of it, that's why they say, that's one of the things John Ferreira said to me. He was like, the only way out is with nothing. And I think what he really meant was the only way out is with nothing. Is with what you came in with. That's why they try to destroy everything that you came in with, so that you have nothing when you're leaving, when they start taking everything that they gave you back, they strategize on how to deplete everything from your hands. And so once you come to that point where you have nothing left, you're like, why would I want to walk away empty handed after I've given this thing all of my time and all of my investment? So I understand why a lot of people do not want to walk away. It's very trying. You really have to plan for that. But it's worth it. But don't just walk out by yourself. You need new life. You need new life. And new life can be had through the Holy Spirit. New life can be had through Mother. That's who I can talk about because that's who I know. Right? And that's who's given me a new life. That's who's given me peace. That's who's cradled me through the entire situation. Hey love, I haven't seen you on my live in forever. Since the first couple ones a month ago, actually, I wanted to like pick your brain because I remember what I was talking about. You were kind of familiar with it because you were saying the same thing had happened to you around the same time. You're like one of the first people, that's not in the States that has said like something like that has happened to them. So that was crazy. So I just wanted to touch base with you. But anyways, yeah, I was just saying Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm coming on live more. I'm putting my face out there. Yeah, you know, I survived my situation. Thank God. I hope you survived yours too. I hope it's not still happening to you. Yeah, you know what? I'm huge on energy. I'm huge on energy. Um, that's how you have to get in these situations. You have to rely on your intuition. You know what? Pray. I don't know if you believe in God or not. Pray. Listen, this situation made me see God is real. Because I don't know about you, those people, I don't know what you think, but those people are using Obia, voodoo, spell work for real. They really, really are. They really, really are using, other forces. They really are using other forces. And it's like people who think that they're not, I know that maybe they just never experienced anything serious. And God forbid it's not something that I want anybody to go through. I have enemies that it's just like, they're my enemy because they couldn't get me to say yes. And that's scary. That's unfortunate. You know, I don't know about the extraterrestrials for sure, but I definitely know that there's people walking around that have something attached to them and they don't even know it. And I can feel it when they're around me. They don't even know it. They don't even know what's attached to them. But, the way that they behave and the things that it's like they're not in their right mind. I don't know. Because you can't be in your right mind. A group of people cannot be in their right mind and be doing the kind of things that they do to people. It's very scary. And they do it to so many people. You will think it's only you. A bunch of people are going through this in the city and everybody's suffering in silence. And I've met a bunch of them in my time. I've met a bunch of them in my time. I've met so many of these people in my time who've been like, I can see that they're going through something. I can tell. I can see in their demeanor. I know something's going on. I went through mine, thank God. I say every day, thank God I went through mine and I'm done with that. I am done with that. That is I will never leave a door open again, spiritually, or the only reason it could have even started spiritually or happens to me spiritually is because I wasn't tapped in yet. I didn't fully step into my life purpose. I didn't fully step into myself. But now, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And they could call me any type of witch. They could call me any type of whatever, because people tend to think when they're using, oh, good. You know what? Let me tell you, I am not a person that naturally puts my pictures out there or like comes on lives or does any of that. And every day it's like God reminds me, like, go on live, go talk to like somebody needs to hear what you're saying. And I'm like, oh, but you know, my engagement low. It's like, no, go on live, you know, do what you have to do, say what you have to say. There's so much stuff happening. People, like, I listen, I can't tell you the amount of people that I could see that it happened to. Like, they were an inch away from telling me that it's happening to them. But it's like when people talk about this, it scares other people away. It scares other people away from you because they're like, I don't want to be involved in that. So it's like, on top of you going through a crazy situation, now you have shame about the situation that is happening to you. And it's like, no, 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 you need to talk about it. People need to know that these people are out here. But let me tell you, I don't know for the rest of the world. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm going to check out your page after. Do not avoid being seen. Go tell your story. Tell your story. It freaks them out. Because when people know that you're going to get on live and you're going to say their name, there are more people. There are more people. With me speaking up, I want to get other people speaking up. And other people speak up and more people start to speak up. They do go for the ones around you, and it is terrifying. But you got to speak up. You know, for me, it's like, first of all, spiritually, I'm in my spiritual bag heavy. These people send me attacks. Yesterday, I put out a message about how they use sex demons, basically, and they make people very lustful. They make people very, even the men are so lustful, then they start having kids everywhere, then their relationship breaks up and all kinds of things happen. They want to destroy your old life. And after I made that video, I was like, last night it was like spiritual attacks again. Like after a certain hour of the night, I start feeling it coming on and I know what they're doing. And it's like, listen, I don't fear that stuff anymore. They sent the worst at me and they could have that right back. That's their energy. That's not my energy. I'm not going to live in that energy. But it's like, pray and speak up. The more we are quiet, they don't want us to speak up. Even as I'm saying this right now, I'm feeling the negative energy starting on my body. Because they don't want us to speak up. Don't worry about people avoiding you. F people anyway. Don't worry about what people are saying. Get on your live and talk. And I'll put notifications on your account. I'll look at your live. That's up to them, what they want to do. They do know a bit. I'll say that much. They know enough to do what they've been doing. And what they really do is they steal people's destinies, and people don't understand that. They steal people's destinies. If your destiny where you were supposed to be this type of singer and you are supposed to be worldwide and whatever, they obviously are coming so hard at you for a reason, because they see, you know, they see basically what you have ahead of you. That's what they take. That's what they steal, is your inheritance, your spiritual inheritance. You gotta pray every day, all the time. Because one thing they're gonna do is they're gonna pray on a schedule. They're gonna pray every day. So you have to put in that work, and God can give you new life. God could give you your destiny back. God could give you whatever is stolen from you back. That's the part that you don't know. It's not stolen forever. Somebody's out there enjoying life on the money that should have been yours, the money that you should have made from your career. And when you get your destiny back, that's a repo. That's a repossession. So people were trying to live off of my destiny. I'm repossessing that. I'm taking that back. So if that means people are going broke or bankrupt right now, it was stolen. It was stolen, and they should have never had that. I tell people all the time, I can only talk about, you have to. You have to. You know, get on YouTube, get on TikTok, get on Twitter, you know, Instagram. There's always people. There are people who have gone through that. I wouldn't tap so much into the gang stalking community so much, because they talk about like targeted individuals, and they talk about people, the government using weapons and stuff. I don't know that that's what's happening. If there is a component of that, I don't know. I haven't seen evidence to that. But I know spell work when I see it. I know voodoo when I see it. I know voodoo when I see it. We grew up in the church. We see things. And I know when things are not natural. And I've seen prayer work my entire life. My entire life, I've seen people pray and situations change. And even the people that are involved in doing this right now are not happy. And this is the part, it's like I had to stay in it long enough for me to see through all these illusions. Like people coming outside pretending that they're happy, or people coming, let me tell you, I swear to God, their job was to come and gang stalk me. And they were more trying to pick my brain. Like they were looking at me like, how comes you're still walking around free and I'm stuck? Like they were looking at me like that. Trust me, it's do your best, but I definitely say you need to talk about it. You need to name people. I say the names of people all the time. There's going to be a day where I'm going to talk about all the individuals that approached me, all the individuals that were a part of this. There were so many people a part of this. Like, I felt like the whole city knew about this, and a lot of people didn't agree with it. They straight up just didn't agree with it. You could see they didn't believe any rumors about me. You could see that they didn't want to be there. They weren't there willingly. It's like they were forced to be there type of thing. They were like kissing their teeth. They were like, they didn't care. They didn't want to be there. And a lot of people just straight up just didn't do it. Like, they would come around. They would just literally, I had people robotically walk through my store, walk in, walk, do a U-turn, walk right back out. Not say anything, not harass me, not nothing. It's like somebody just told them to do it. They just walked in, walked out, and left. Like, it was mutiny. I could see it. By the end of it, it was like I could see it was disbanding. It was mutiny. People didn't care anymore. They were not on board. And especially in this kind of economy, sending people to spend money in someone's store. Why are you doing that? As an individual, you have to use your common sense. You've agreed to something, you're spending your money, you're investing your time, and it's just clearly not working. It doesn't take a year to recruit people. People are recruited in a matter of weeks. It doesn't take a year, especially when they're using spell work. It doesn't take a year because they take a long time to circle your environment and circle your networks. So it's it's been more than a year. It's going on a year and a half. Actually, it's a year and a half now. It doesn't take that long. This is a waste of people's time and money and their investment. When the economy comes in next year, people are going to be way too busy trying to hold on to their life and hold on to their mental health and their stability. Shelters are suffering. They definitely didn't understand. I knew exactly what that was from day one. I knew exactly what that was from day one. I knew it was a slavery thing. It's chains. People are in chains and they can't get out. It's difficult to get out of it. They lose everything on their way out. And when they've built so much, people have built houses, got married, families, everything on the backs of hurting innocent people. And then giving innocent people PTSD where they don't want to trust strangers. They're scared. They're afraid to go out and to do things, and it's ridiculous. You know how hard it is to heal yourself mentally from that, and you have to work on healing yourself, because you try to go to therapy, they're going to get in touch with the therapist. All of a sudden the therapist is going to turn into an op in your face. There's you have to work on yourself. But like I say, for everybody who's gone through it, and there's so many people who've gone through it, people who are scared to speak up, I think that they should speak up. They should go live. And like I always say, stay prayed up. God is not fiction. God is real. God is real. God is real. When you go through a storm, you know that God is real. God is physically real. God will be physically present with you. God will physically comfort you, physically make you feel good, physically send you messages, physically take care of you. It's so crazy. Like, and I know this is where people start saying about the dark witch thing, but I swear to God, like, God gifted me this Christmas. I swear to, I'm not joking, like, gifted me this Christmas, where it's like, I'm like, me and my family, we're looking at each other, I'm like, okay, so you see this, right? There's no other way to explain this, right? Like, it's such a beautiful relationship. I don't know where I would be. I can only just, not as like a Bible thumper or like a fanatic, but I'm just saying, because this has really happened to me, that I'm walking free from something that everybody is terrified of. And I'm not just free, but I'm nowhere near where they wanted me to be. Nowhere near. I'm standing firm. I think I'm the only person in the situation of all those who stalked me that is still doing okay. They are not doing okay at all. They are trying their best. They are going the fuck through it. I'm telling you that for a fact. So it's like, every single day I'm in awe of the things that I've seen, both good and bad. I want to say to God, like, I just have to say, thank you for the experience, because it has made me stronger, and I obviously will need that strength moving forward. But when I was tired, God was working for me. God was my strength. Like, when I was not thinking straight on my own, it's like God was thinking for me, So, yeah, well, thank you for logging into my live. I hope you stay safe. Out of curiosity, where are you with your situation? Has it stopped? What's going on? Are you still going through it? Being on live is like being on like an iPhone call, but like, it hasn't stopped. Oh wow, they don't get tired, I'll tell you that. They don't get tired, at least in my situation. They're still trying to struggle. They're still struggling, even if it's like, oh, okay, it stopped. They still struggle, even if it's like one person every 2 to 3 days. They try their best. It is what it is. I don't care. I didn't care when it was 12 people for the day. I certainly do not give a shit now. You have to mind your business. You have to mind the business that pays you, so things don't slip out of your control. I think that's what's happened with people. Excuse me, is while they've been playing games and beating a dead horse and pursuing something that should never have been pursued in the first place, the economy just blindsided everybody. And things got crazy. And money that was supposed to come in just didn't come in. Now nobody's getting paid. Now none of them are getting paid. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But, don't play with God's kids. Like, don't play with, people who don't hurt anybody. It's how long did you go through it for? Out of curiosity, how long was your situation? I think, wait, did we talk before? I can't remember if we talked before, when I first talked about it in November. I talked to somebody. You know what? It's not necessarily that you're not paying attention. It's that they've weaved these lies for so many years that they know how to form these illusions around you, and you don't notice that these things are happening around you. These people have a lot of experience with what they're doing, so it's not that you're not, like, you're just living your life. You're not thinking to yourself that something well coordinated like this can exist. So it's like, don't beat yourself up. Honestly, if you held out long enough that it trickled off for you, and that they walked away from it, glory be to God. Okay, don't count yourself lucky, you know. For I think everybody there's a different reason. I know people, I know a lot of, I don't know them personally, people that it happened through their jobs. And then I know people who, like myself, I know it had to do with being recruited for drugs. I know for facts because they kept approaching me like consistently. They were desperate. They are desperate because they're not getting paid. Either they're not getting paid or they owe money. One of the two. I don't know. Whichever one, I don't think it's the right people to be playing with. So I know that's why it's so desperate for them. But it's like, listen, it's gonna get worse. Every time people decide to come up against me, it just gets worse. I warn people, they don't want to listen, and it's like only when you're going through this, and they keep sending people to put themselves in this fire, in this horrible, in this toxic situation. I don't know if the people know what they're doing, but if you know what you're doing and you're actively participating in something like that, it's even worse. Because how can you know that that's what you're doing and want to be involved in it? Do you know how many, you know you could get life in prison for this shit? This is a life sentence. This is not like other things that you can do where you're in and out. This is freaking horrible. People don't know that. This is life imprisonment. And you know, all these systems that they had and all these police that they had in pocket and all these things that they had going on, all of these things are coming crashing down as well. It's like ridiculous, man. But listen, so, oh, let me put my YouTube. I should always put my YouTube and then, just so people can check it out. But check out my YouTube. I am putting a lot of content on there. And if you have anything to add, you know, I always say you should put your, you should, let me see if it'll pin. You should definitely speak out as well. You should definitely say something. I should have had a pin the whole time. I'll do it next time. You should definitely say something. You shouldn't just let, if you survived something like this, how you got through it, what kind of steps you took, etc. You should share with people because there are people that need that information. I know that there are people that need this information, you know. Because I think people are going to have to walk away from this, and it's going to be very trying. It's going to be very difficult because being in there is increasingly difficult every day, more and more. I can see it. I see their businesses, how their businesses are suffering. I see the things that they're going through. So, you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to keep my video to under an hour. Thank you for joining. Anytime you see my live, you can always pop in. And if you do go live, I'm going to try to check it out as well. But I feel like you should just talk about it. Tell your story. You've survived something that most people can't. Like, there's people who need to hear your story. That's exactly what I heard, and it's true. There are people who need to know that this exists, and they need to hear your story. So definitely tell your story. Like, don't keep it to yourself. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't, like, that's not who your audience is. Your audience is not people who are here to say anything negative. It really is people who don't know how to deal with this and don't know what happened to their life. There are people that their life got derailed and they still don't know how. So it's good to talk about it. But thank you for joining my live. Have a Merry Christmas. And yeah, I'll keep doing lives. I usually come on live. I never know when, but yeah, I'll definitely come on live again. Have a good day. Have a good rest of the day and have some rest. Bye bye.